You are looking live at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which is up 17 points today, or 0.11%, and closed at 16,397. You can see the volume was below the average daily volume on the first day of April, and there was a lot of jokers playing April Fools games today. It was kind of bugging me. uh, People are trying to catch you off guard with these headlines. Anyway, I'm going to move along here. The Nasdaq is just in an uptrend, finding support at the 21. There's not much to say about this since the breakout, the follow-through day on November 1. It's just trending higher, and I've gone over many times about the prior markets of 2017 and 2003 and 4, about how they've kind of coincided with this type of market. I know the precedent analysis isn't everyone's game, but I like to take a look back and see, history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. And it's looking to me like, gosh, we might get something like this again this year. Anyway, you could see the pullback to the 10 and the support there for the Nasdaq. It was kind of a nothing day today. I wouldn't read too much into the action today. If your stock was down a little or up a little, it was kind of a quirky tape today. Anyway, one stock. Oh, wait a minute. Before I go to the stocks, I've got to go to the Russell. I was kind of hoping that the Russell would catch a bid. As you see, it has momentum here to the upside, but it pulled back today, and that's okay. It has a MicroStrategy and ELF as some of the top Russell names, and they were down pretty good today. So it's a little bit of a drag there, 1%. Yeah, it's fine. It's above its 3.7% above the 50 there. So yeah, just coming in a little bit, but Russell looks fine in an uptrend and trading higher above all of its moving averages. Anyway, I was going to get to Google. Google broke out of this little consolidation area here today with some strength, but I was looking at the 5-minute chart here, and it just went up, and just like the patient is dead, it went nowhere. And then at the end, it caught a little bit of a bid at near the close of the session. So nice close for Google today, as it is closed at 95% of its daily range. So you can see a nice hammer candle there on the Google. All right, the king of the internet. Good for Google, because some of the other stocks there were not actually performing too well today for the Nasdaq. One was NVDA, even though the semiconductor names were up pretty good today. NVIDIA, oh wow, closed totally flat. It was down. You can't get any flatter than that. 7 cents, 007. So it was a bondish type of day. Anyway, April 1st, the fool's on you. Doing nothing. It might just set up in a base there at that 900 level. It looks like it's just having trouble at 900. This is AMD, one that I have on our ready list, because I'm expecting a bounce off this 50, but it's just squatting here. It was up nearly $3 today. Not bad, but I'm expecting a little sharper bounce higher here for AMD. But like I said, today's the first day of a new quarter, and we got to give it some time to let it get rolling here. You could see the volume below average volume today for AMD. Looks like people are still on Easter break or something. Broadcom, another stock that is a leader in the AI cohort, pulled back to the 50, found support, pulled back to the 10 now and found support. It had this ascending base type pattern, and just finding support at moving averages is a positive thing for, if you're holding that stock. I'm not buying it here. This is ARM Holdings, ARM, not AMR. That's I confuse them a lot. That's another coal type of play. But anyway, this one had a nice pull here, and now it's just flagging and kind of quietly flagging here. ARM. I know a lot of people were expecting it to make it through the 164, but it's going to go on its own time. And today it closed 1.3% below the 21. You can see the 21 and the 10 just converging here. So it's starting to tighten up there. ARM looks pretty good to me. And then another couple of stocks in this kind of a group, and then I'm going to move on. Micron, This one gapped up on earnings, and it was up, what, 14%. This is why we pay attention to these, earnings gap. Let's just say this day it went up and the trade was between 108 and 113. You can see that daily range. Or let's just say you got it at 110, right? And then it pulls back and thinking, oh my gosh, it's in the gap, went down to 107. But if you bought at 110, you're pretty happy camper today because it's at 124. Thought process is when you get a company that reports earnings like this and it's got this, V reversal in earnings, that, the institutions are going to reconfigure their models and come back with higher price targets, and they're going to want to buy this stock before it starts getting too expensive. And Micron is just showing real strength here. This computer data storage stock, another one in this kind of type of trade, the computer hardware, which is a strong group. This is Dell, once again, had this gap on earnings. Now, if you bought that 115 to 130, you'd be underwater here at the 104. So you've been better to wait, right? You would have got stopped out, if it got back into this gap area, but now it found support. Now it's moving higher. So that's why this stuff is not easy. There's no mold. You got to, this is an art and not a science here. So yeah, Dell, pretty decent earnings profile there. And this is a super micro. Obviously, their earnings have been skyrocketing. Today it was up nearly 3%. Let me go to the daily chart. Yeah, it started to tighten up last week. Here you can see that inside day, and it was only like a $36 intraday move here on Friday. Yeah, 1,033 to 997. So I thought, oh, inside day and an inside week, and it resumed higher today. Looks pretty good here. If you look at the weekly chart as well on super micro, man, this looks textbook type stuff here, where it has this this pole, and then you got this flagging action. That looks pretty darn good to me. But they're going to have to deliver earnings. It's not going to go up just because of the chart. And anyway, SMCI looks good. I'm going to move on from the tech cohort. I want to get to some of these other names here, like the miners. I have Alcoa on my ready list here. It's forming this stage one base here. It looks pretty good to me. Some of the members of this cohort have already taken off. You can see that stage one there, just starting to turn around and head back north after pretty long sell off there for Alcoa. The other one I wanted to show was Freeport McMoran. Obviously broke out of the base. Was going to put this on the ready list last week, but it just pulled back to the 10 and just took off. So she gone, and I don't like to chase stocks because I get shaken out on pullbacks. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to play that game. But if you own it, good luck and congrats. That looks pretty good. CCJ got an upgrade this morning. Responded really well to the upgrade. You can see it's still consolidating within a base, but you can see the RS line moving through the moving averages here. Man, that looks like a nice hammer candle here on the daily. Well, that's a nice response to an upgrade, up nearly 8%, and closing range is 95%. So a nice closer. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart on the close. Okay, that's a nice day for Kamiko. And the last one I want to look at in this group of miners is Southern Copper. This one broke out. What day is this? March 13th, and is not looking back. So, he's got to say, congrats to the longs there. I'm not chasing Southern Copper, but it sure is a strong stock. No denying that. So the miners look good. And you know what else looks good is the oil stocks. I've been talking about these for a while now, and Tidewater is definitely, the leader of this oil and gas field services group. Now, the group is not that high, but it takes a while for these rankings to adjust. And Tidewater certainly is a strong one. Like I said, I wouldn't want to chase that, but OII, Oceaneering International, just starting to consolidate in this base here and trading tight within the base. I kind of like that one as well. These are slower movers. They're not going to, they're not SMCI or NVDA or anything like that. Weatherford is another leader in the equipment, oil and gas machinery equipment names, made a new high today. You can see it broke out from that 100 level, and it's just been running for a while now. And you can see this is the earnings line here, heading due north. Isn't it funny how the stock follows the earnings line? One other one that I do have, I don't know if I have this on my ready list this week. It's been on our ready list for the last couple of weeks. Not really moving, but the equipment stock AROC, AROK, and just kind of doodling along there along its 10 EMA. So maybe it'll break out here above 20. Anyway, speaking of 20, I think Permian Resources is going to actually get to 20. We had this on our ready list a while back here. What is this? Late February, when it was around that 15 area. Now it's kind of taken off there, 17, approaching $18. So Permian looks good. A couple that I still have on my ready list are these international exploration stocks. This is Hess Corporation. You can see this consolidation within the base. I like the tight trading within the base here. You can see it's made big moves in the past, consolidated, made more big moves, consolidated, made more big moves, and now it's just been trading sideways for quite some time, and maybe it's ready to move. We'll have to see. Another one in the group is Oxy. I believe this is pretty much Warren Buffett's stock here, and this one pulled back. It's consolidated, forming the right side of that base there, pulled back and just blasted higher. So Occidental looks good as well. Devon is another one that I like in this is a US exploration stock above its moving average. You can see the short-term moving averages now above the longer-term moving averages. So Devon looks like it's flexing a little bit too. A couple other ones that I have on my ready list is Conoco. Wow, this one did pretty well today, huh? Okay, looks pretty good. This is another international exploration stock. Base on base pattern. You got the cup with handle, then you got this kind of like a flat base with a long period of consolidation. So maybe this one's ready to move. Couple other ones just that are just leading and on a heater. This is a Marathon. This is a refining stock making new highs, and Valero making new highs. Another refining stock. PSX, this is Phillips, another refiner. The refiners are just really super strong here and looking good. So anyway, I think I'm going to stop there with the oil and gas. I could go on and on though. Pioneer, this is a US exploration, kind of like Devon, and it's starting to get away here. Still actionable. The 257 area, now it's at 263, so still actionable. I think Pioneer, very strong stocks. A lot, and the oil and gas and the miners. And you know what else is strong? I'm going to move on here to the actually the airline stocks are starting to lift off. You wouldn't think so with all the bad news from Boeing. You think people would stay away from airplanes, but the airline stocks are showing well. This is Delta. I have this one on my ready list as well, and it looks like it's starting to lift off a little bit. United Airlines, let's see the daily chart here and the weekly, just consolidating here in the base, trying to break out. The earnings line, though, is trending kind of nicely for these airline stocks. And that one's just still setting up in a base. This is Skyworst, Transportation Airlines. This one's gone. It's just surfing its moving averages, nowhere near a base, but definitely one of the stronger airline stocks. And then Alaska Airlines. This one I fly frequently, and it's pretty good airlines. Alaska looks pretty good here on this stage 1 base. Just trying to finally break away. This has been a long time. What is this, since 21, since this thing sold off, made a bottom, and now it's above its moving averages. So, and the earnings, line is not too shabby for a stock that's sold off so hard. Anyway, I mentioned these airlines and the leisure, the gaming. People are traveling and enjoying themselves and staying at hotels and booking their trips and gambling, like at places like MGM. This one I have on my radar list as well. You can see this nice consolidation, cup with handle pattern, traded below it, undercut its 50, rallied back above it. And now its moving averages are getting stacked, getting in a power trend. MGM looks good to me. Steve Wynn Resorts, yeah, still this, wow, it's had a nice move today, more than 4%, very nice. You can see the cup with handle pattern there and nice breakout, so that looks really good. And you can see these earnings lines trending north. Like I said, the stock's not going to go higher just because of the chart. You need some earnings, darn it, and it looks like Wynn's delivering the goods with the earnings. Make my trip. This is a Indian leisure travel booking stock, just showing a lot of strength as well. And then TCOM. This is a leisure travel booking stock that I believe made a new high today. And, that you can see that cup with handle pattern right there, and the earnings line is just heading due north. So that one looks good. People ask me to look at booking, not one of my favorite stocks. It's consolidating here in a base, but you can see its earnings line is trending north too. So usually the stocks are going to follow or lead that earnings line. And today it just pulled back to its 50. It was down $59 or 1.63% on lighter volume. So booking looks okay. Oh, great. Let's move on. I've got to do some retail. CROX, Deckers, and On Holdings were all three upgraded at Barclays today. I think CROX and On Holdings was initiated, and Deckers was given a $1,100 price target. Anyway, CROX broke out from this base here at 110 following its earnings report, pulled back to its 10 EMA. It's just been kind of surfing the 10 EMA, but it handled that upgrade really well today, up 1.36%. And you can see, its earnings are kind of flattening out. I don't think the Hey Dude acquisition is doing them any favors. They're trying to figure out what to do with Hey Dude. And I think they're trying to copy Decker's Uggs, which is not a bad idea. Uggs has been a real top seller. Deckers went into the S&P 500. Just it gapped higher on earnings here, and it's just trending with its moving averages. It was down $10 today on an upgrade, so light volume. That's a nothing burger on April 1. Like I say, you don't read too much into today's action, the first day of a new quarter. Just relax, let them play out. Deckers is fine. On Holdings, I like the chart. I like the chart and I like the growth. I don't like the valuation. I really don't like the shoe, so I'm biased a little bit about this stock. And it's got 11 billion market cap, which is for footwear companies, it's pretty pricey with it's got a couple billion in sales. So I don't know. I think it's going to need a couple more quarters of some robust sales and earnings growth. You could see the earnings last quarter took a hit, real choppy here, 200, then 70, then 200, then nothing. So it takes time. It's a younger company. So keeping my eye on Holdings. The dentist, Dillard's, reported last week, I believe. Anyway, let's take a look at the weekly chart here. And you can see the big consolidation breaking out now, trading along with its moving averages. The dentist is doing fine, actually made a new high today. So that's better than fine. That is super bullish. I mentioned earlier, in the week, last week, I believe, not earlier this week, today is Monday, but recently, maybe on the weekend, the IPOs, you got to be careful with the IPOs because they don't have trading history. Reddit, I know a lot of people are hot and heavy for Reddit. And man, if you bought up here on this day, the 26 near the 70 area is now down to 45. So like I said, give them some time to, create bases or show some trading history before you jump into these things. I don't care how much you like them. They're very susceptible. This is Astera Labs, semiconductor fabless, it was up 95 and today closed at 71. So these things will cause you pain if you chase them. So I'm just, fair warning. I don't have anything against or for these stocks at all. It's just you got to give them time. That's my point. This is a BBB Foods. It's TBBB is the ticker symbol, and down 4% today. It was up at 25 last week. now down to 23. So just be careful with these new issues. AS is another one. American sports, Amair sports, anyway, leisure product stock. Yeah, it was up by 18 and now down to 15. And that's just give them time, let them form their, bases, whatever they have to do. AHR, you want some trading history here. This one's formed a nice IPO base. Looked like it was going to break out and then pull back to its 10 EMA. So this one looks pretty decent here. This is American Healthcare. It's a REIT, huh? Yeah, well, it doesn't have earnings here, so it's got sales though. Got some sales growth. One that I do like is BTSG because it has sales, because it has earnings. It's got a little bit of history. It formed a bottom here, undercut the IPO low. So I'm watching this one around $11 for 75 cents in earnings, medical outpatient care. You can see the reversal in earnings profile. So I'm gonna watch this one. I'm gonna watch a lot of these IPO stocks because this is where the new merchandise, some of these can be home runs or grand slams. Smith Douglas Homes, the home stocks have been strong. This thing looked like it IPO'd at too low of a price here, ran up to 32 and now pulled back to 28. So like I said, you just got to give it time to consolidate and form an IPO base. Anyway, that's it for me. No April Fool's jokes from me today. I take this stock market money making stuff pretty seriously. And I just have one more thing in the honor of the great Steve Jobs. Philip Van Heusen today reported earnings and down 20%. It was not the earnings that's knocking it down. You could see it form this base here, double bottom base, and broke out and had the David Ryan ants. And 123, then ran up to 139. Looked like it was going to form another base, pull back to its 50, looked fantastic. And then today, boom, back to 112. Like I said, they reported earnings and sales above analyst expectations, but their guidance was soft. And so it's getting a little bit of a haircut back to where it was, and when it broke out back in December, huh? Yeah, that's a nice 3-month haircut. We'll see what happens with it tomorrow. But anyway, there's a lot of rotation going on. The name of the game is rotation. So you sit there and try to chase every little rotating stock, it's like a cat chasing its tail. It's best to stick with the winners if you have good pricing on, stocks like SMCI or if you have NVIDIA, if you bought it during the, when it ran through its pivot point here at 500, you can handle, a couple months of going sideways if that's what it wants to do at that 900 level. Or I doubt if this thing is going to form a big base. But what I'm saying is don't try to chase every stock because, it's going to be the miners, it's going to be the oil and gas, it's going to be defense, and it's going to rotate into tech and software. And so you just kind of have to hold your ground, know that you're holding winners, wait for the earnings reports to come out. I think, the stocks in the AI cohort are going to report pretty strong earnings as we've seen recently from, Oracle. They reported a strong quarter, didn't really get rewarded for it, still consolidating in this space, but you can see this earning line going north. And Micron just reported, I think it was last week, and you can see the earnings. It's showing up here. This AI is showing up. It's it's in the enterprise. It's not something that consumers are going to see every day. But yeah, that's why there's probably going to be some caution ahead of these earnings, which we're going to hear earnings from a lot of these big companies in April. And there's probably going to be some caution ahead of them. But afterwards, I expect strong earnings and I expect some of these stocks to take off. Microsoft is another one that should do well with AI, and same with Meta Platforms. I kind of like this consolidation here, but you can see the earnings is heading due north, so the stock will follow. Anyway, that's it for me. Be patient, don't try to chase every shiny object. You can't kiss all the babies. And I think I'm out of phrases or sayings for today. The trend is your friend. Don't fight the tape. And at mcstockcharts.com, we never give up. Thank you for watching.